In the shadow of Detroit's rusting factories, where the American dream often ends up scrapped like an old Chevy on the junkyard heap, Alex Thompson discovered that the sharpest knife isn't the one you see coming, it's the one held by the hand you trusted most. It was a Tuesday, in late October 2016, the kind of night when the wind off the Detroit River slices through your bones like unpaid bills. And Alex, 25 and broad-shouldered from years of hauling crates, sat in his cramped one-bedroom on Gratiot Avenue. The rent $850 a month that he'd sweated out from 12-hour shifts at the auto parts warehouse. His phone buzzed on the scarred coffee table, the screen lighting up with a message from Mike Harlan, his best friend since kindergarten, fistfights on the playground at Cass Tech High. "Sorry, bro. Had to take care of me." Attached was a screenshot, a bank wire for $5,000, their entire joint savings, every overtime bonus Alex had socked away, every tip Mike had skimmed from bartending at the Dive on Woodward Avenue. They dreamed it up over greasy White Castle sliders after late shifts, a food truck slinging gourmet grilled cheeses at Eastern Market on weekends, logos sketched on napkins stained with ketchup and hope. Alex's thumbs froze, his heart hammering like a loose piston in the plant. Mike, the guy who'd crashed on his couch after his own folks kicked him out at 18, the one who'd sworn, "We're in this till the wheels fall off." Gone to Chicago with some club girl, and the cash fueling his escape. Alex's vision blurred, rage boiling up from his gut. He hurled the phone at the wall. It cracked on impact, shards of glass skittering across the linoleum like his shattered faith. Loyalty, he'd always believed, was bulletproof, no contracts needed between brothers, forged in the fire of Detroit's mean streets. But as the eviction notice slid under the door at dawn, stamped with the 1st of November, Alex slumped against the peeling wallpaper, wallet holding just $47 and a backpack of faded tees. How do you climb out when the only ladder you had snaps under your weight? The city outside hummed indifferent, its neon signs flickering like false promises, leaving him to wonder if he'd ever stand tall again. Those early days blurred into a haze of survival, the kind that etches lines into a young man's face faster than factory fume. Alex and Mike had been inseparable since the bleachers at Cass Tech, class of 2010, where they'd dodge hall monitors to sneak smokes and plot escapes from the grind. Alex had dropped out of Wayne State after one semester tuition, devouring his warehouse pay at $12 an hour. Loading GM crates on Lynch Road, the air thick with oil and overtime promises. College is for suckers, Mike had laughed, clinking Pabst cans in Alex's apartment after shifts. We got the real hustle. They'd pooled it all for the truck. Alex's bonuses, Mike's bar tabs forgiven for investor status. No written agreement, just handshakes sealed with bro code. Now, with Mike's silence louder than any apology, Alex hit the pavement, resume in hand, printed cheap at the Woodward Avenue Library, where the ink smeared like his luck. Temp agencies in Midtown eyed his high school diploma like it was forged, his lack of references, a red flag waving in the wind. Warehouse experience? Sure, but no college? Try fast food, kid. He did, flipping patties at the McDonald's off 8 Mile Road for $9.25 an hour, the sizzle mocking his empty stomach as grease soaked his jeans. Shifts bled into midnight, then the trek to the Shelby Street shelter, a fluorescent-lit bunker where cots creaked under the weight of strangers' stories. Alex claimed a lower bunk, the bleach stench clinging to his skin, staring at water-stained ceilings that mapped routes to nowhere. His body bore the scars, calluses from crate grips, a jagged line on his knuckle from a slipped box cutter 3 years back. But the deeper cuts, the ghosts, no Mike to crack jokes over, post-shift beers at Slow's BBQ, no one to split the load when the world's weight pressed down. Texts to old Mumford High buddies, fizzled. Heard about Mike, man, that sucks. Tough breaks doled out like expired coupons. Isolation wrapped around him tighter than the winter chill creeping in, the city's pulse honking horns on Jefferson Avenue, freighters groaning under the Ambassador Bridge, pounding a rhythm of solitude. By early December, snow blanketed the sidewalks like a shroud, and Alex's funds dwindled to ramen packets from the dollar store. He'd pawned his grandma's old watch for $20, the tick of it silenced forever. The betrayal hadn't just stolen money, it had ripped away the myth he'd lived by, that bonds like theirs were Detroit tough, unbreakable as the river ice. Crashing on Belle Isle's park benches when the shelter overflowed, oaks whispering overhead as stars wheeled cold above, Alex wrapped his jacket tighter, breath fogging in the frigid air. The river lapped at the shore, indifferent to his unraveling. But as the first flakes dusted his lashes, a question clawed up from the dark. Was this the end of his story, or just the page he had to burn to write the next? Winter's grip tightened like a vice that January 2017, turning Detroit's streets into a gauntlet Alex could barely navigate. The shelter booted him after a week overcrowded. Rules about 3 strikes for late check-ins, he couldn't dodge with warehouse echoes in his bones. He wandered Jefferson Avenue in a gray dawn, boots crunching ice, the Ambassador Bridge's lights mocking him across to Canada, a freedom he couldn't afford. Hypothermia nipped at his heels by nightfall. He hunkered in the doorway of an abandoned tire shop, wind howling through shattered panes like Mike's ghost, laughing from Chicago. Fingers numb, toes prickling to wood, Alex clutched his backpack, the faded photo of his mom, lost to cancer when he was 16, her smile creased from too many folds, his only warmth. Dad had split for Vegas slot dreams years before, leaving echoes in empty rooms. No safety net, just the raw edge of a loan. Job Hunt's fared worse. 50 cold emails to agencies, resumes tailored on library computers, all ghosts in the inbox. No verifiable history. One reply dinged back, dated the 10th of January. The McDonald's gig soured fast manager docking $23 for a slow line on a Friday rush. The accusation stinging like salt in a fresh wound. Customers barked orders, the fryer beeping endless, while Alex's mind replayed Mike's text on loop. Rage simmered, bubbling into nights where he'd punch shadows in the shelter yard, knuckles splitting on chain-link fences. Friends? The few left from Mumford High faded like old ink. A group chat invite to a Lions game arrived. But who shows up broke and broken? Isolation wasn't just lonely, it was a thief, stealing sleep, appetite, the fire that once fueled pickup basketball on cracked courts near Woodward. By February's end, a blizzard roared in, dumping 2 feet overnight, the kind that shuts down the city and buries the weak. Alex stumbled through whiteout drifts on grass-shoot, visibility zero, the cold a living thing clawing his coat. He collapsed in that tire shop again, frost ryming his beard, body shaking violent. What now? He rasped to the dark, Mom's photo pressed to his chest, its edges frayed like his resolve. Surrender, whispered sweet. Curl up, let the snow take the pain. But as hallucinations flickered Mike's grin, Mom's hand in his a spark flickered. Dawn cracked the storm, sunlight glinting off icicles like fractured hope. Frostbitten but breathing, Alex staggered to the Detroit Public Library on Woodward, its marble steps a frozen altar. Hands thawing on a radiator, he caught the eye of Earl, a grizzled volunteer with a Vietnam squint and thermos of black coffee. Rough one, son? Earl slid the mug over, steam curling like a lifeline. Alex nodded, throat raw. Earl nodded to the shelves. Dog-eared tomes on bootstraps and comebacks. One caught his eye, The Lean Startup, by Eric Ries. Its spine cracked from hands like his. Words leaped, failure as fuel, not finale. For the first time since the text, something stirred not hope, but grit reborn. He checked it out on a fresh library card, his name the only anchor left. Vowing no more waiting for traitors or temp gods, Alex laced his boots tighter. But could a burger flipper with frozen fingers really code his way out of the abyss? Or was this just another Detroit delusion? Spring's reluctant thaw came in March 2017. Puddles pooling on cracked sidewalks like tentative promises, and Alex seized it with a hunger that scared him. Ditching the shelter roulette, he bartered into a Hamtramck basement, sublet $200 a month, in odd jobs for a Polish immigrant landlord, fixing leaky faucets with duct tape and YouTube grit. The enclave's spice-scented air, a faint comfort in the damp. He quit McDonald's cold after that docked pay, the final straw in a haystack of humiliations, and poured himself into the library's free computers, screens glowing under harsh fluorescence. Coding? He'd never touched it. HTML looked like alien script at first. Codecademy tutorials, mocking his thick fingers on the keyboard. 4 hours a day, every day, starting at 8 a.m. When the library opened, wedged between retirees and job seekers. Week 1. A basic web page for a phantom coffee shop, buttons dead on arrival. Useless, he growled, deleting code till his mouse hand cramped. But Earl became a quiet fixture, refilling the thermos, slipping notes. Keep at it, kid. Rome wasn't debugged in a day. Online, Reddit's r, divided by learn programming, became his underground lurking as newbies vented, then posting, "Loops killing me pointers?" Replies flooded from faceless allies, tips stacking like bricks. Alex stacked habits too. 5 a.m. Wakes for 3-mile jogs along the Detroit River Trail, pounding past the Renaissance Center's glass giants, lungs searing, mind sharpening against doubt. Breakfast? Oatmeal packets at $1.50 a box from the corner store, fuel for the grind. By April, he'd clawed a Kresge Foundation grant $5,000 for urban innovators. His pitch on a warehouse budget app landing after 3 revisions, emailed from the library at 2:17 a.m. on the 15th. It bought freedom. Last warehouse check, $1,200 after taxes. Shifts ended, body his own again. Version 1 of the app bloomed in May, a clunky budget tracker for shift workers, punching overtime against $2.49 a gallon gas for burbs commutes. Tested on his flip phone, it sputtered but tallied true. June's humid haze saw upload to Google Play, $25 developer fee scraped from the grant, 0 downloads staring back like a dare. Weekends blurred into Techtown meetups in Midtown, free coffee bitter as rejections. He pitched once, voice gravel, for guys clocking souls for scraps. Polite nods, no bites. Failures gnawed version 2's meal planner, crashed on Android 8. 2 beta testers, doc co-workers, bailing with 2 glitchy man. Rage at Mike flared anew, a blocked Chicago number. But brags leaked through mutuals, a Beamer gleaming in selfies. Alex channeled it into 5-mile runs now. Asphalt blurring under Nike's worn to 300 miles. Stevie Wonder blasting superstition as mantra. Journaling in a $2 spiral notebook entry, 89. Debugged form error. Felt like winning a shift lottery. Small wins mounted, 50 downloads by July's edge. Whispers in the old plant's Facebook group. But traction? Elusive as summer rain. As August heat baked the riverfront, Alex stared at his laptop in the basement's gloom, code lines blurring. One more iteration, he vowed, or was this hustle just another truck dream destined to stall? The pivot hit like lightning in a bottle that sweltering July 2017, a crisis that could have buried him but instead cracked the sky open. Shift Surge version 3, stripped to its core with an overtime predictor crunching shifts. Against real-time gas spikes drew its first real crowd. 300 users by mid-month, warehouse vets sharing in break rooms. Then the crash. Peak hour overload, servers buckling under logins, locking everyone out mid-shift. Panic texts flew, app down, can't track my OT. Alex's inbox a war zone. He bolted to a Grand River Starbucks at 9 p.m. Laptop hot on his thighs, chugging $4 lattes till veins hummed. All-nighter blurred. Backups restored at 3:47 a.m. Offline mode patched by dawn. $1,000 from the grant, sunk into AWS clouds for armor. The fix? Magic. A UAW union rep, testing for his crew, tweeted, "Shift Surge just saved my ass from overdraft blue-collar must-have." It exploded 15,000 retweets by week's end. Downloads surging to 10,000 inches. A viral ripple from Pittsburgh mills to Chicago cabs. Alex watched the metrics climb on his phone, heart sinking to the surge, a grin cracking his stubble for the first time in months. But the real thunder rolled the 15th of October, 2017 at 10:32 a.m. Call from Techstars Detroit, voice crisp on the line. $120,000 investment for 6% equity. "You're in, Thompson." Knees buckled in the library stacks, tears hot and unashamed. The radiator's warmth no match for the fire reignited. From $47 in his pocket, to this betrayal's theft transmuted to fuel, solitude's forge yielding gold. No mic, no mentors holding hands, just him, raw and rising. The accelerator loomed in November, demo days under Midtown lights. But as Alex hung up, Earl's coffee mug still warm in his grip, he wondered, was this the peak? Or just the ramp to something unbreakable? By winter's turn, 2017's frost yielding to the New Year's bite, Alex's world inverted not with fanfare, but the quiet click of metrics turning legend. Shift Surge hit 50,000 users by November's close, blue-collar forums buzzing with testimonials. Tracked my 60-hour week. Paid off the light bill. Revenue trickled, then flooded $4.99. Monthly subs for ad-free runs, netting $50,000 quarterly. His Chase account swelling to $120,000 after taxes. First real buffer against the ghost. He traded the Hamtramck damp for a Midtown studio, $1,200 a month, with a sliver view of the Fisher Building's gilded spire, IKEA desk, $149, and piled with prototypes. No flash, but solid as his code. Features bloomed, Venmo splits for rideshares, forums for gig swaps, UI sharpened by a $300. Upwork freelancer, icons of wrenches and clocks gleaming clean. Partnerships knocked. Uber for driver logs in December, seamless syncs, boosting retention to 70%. Demo day at Techstars sealed it. Alex on stage, voice steady as river ice. "I built this alone 'cause I had to." For every shift that breaks your back, this mends the math. VCs leaned in, handshakes crisp, equity traded for scale. By year's end, 100,000 users nationwide, annual revenue cresting $500,000. Alex's net worth a whispered million in index funds per advisor's map. No Vegas gambles, just steady climbs. The grind paid scars too. Marathons now, training for the Detroit Free Press race. 26.2 miles, logged by spring 2018, medals dangling like proof against doubt. He met Lena at a meetup, coder with a laugh like Motown horns, thawing his edges over shared pitches. Their wedding? Low-key at Belle Isle, June 2018. Jamal from the docks as best man, ribs from Slows the Feast. Success wasn't solitary anymore, but its roots? Forged in that basement, fingers flying solo. Yet, as numbers soared, so did purpose. The Surge Foundation launched 2018, $100,000 seed from his cut, coding boot camps and shelters. 200 laptops donated to vets on cots like his once were. Alex volunteered nights, teaching HTML to wide-eyed kids from Cody High, their questions echoing his hungers. Start with one line, he'd demo, screen glowing. Impact rippled, users emailing thanks. "Your app got me through divorce, man." By 2025, 1.2 million gigs powered, company valued at $20 million in a quiet VC exit, proceeds fueling expansions. But the true wealth, in the mirror eyes fierce, not fractured. Betrayal had gutted him, but the rebuild? Unyielding steel. Gratitude washed over Alex in waves now. Not the sappy kind from self-help shelves, but the hard-earned kind etched in scars and ledgers. To Earl, the thermos sage, whose yearly Christmas cards from Florida still arrived, scribbled with, "Keep surging, kid," the first hand extended when walls closed in. To Jamal, doc brother who'd beta-tested that glitchy V1, sharing it in the break room till it snowballed. Now godfather to Alex's son, Theo, curls wild like Lena's. To Detroit's veins the river's relentless flow, the asphalt cracks blooming green each spring, the factory hum that taught rhythm before code. Betrayal? It stripped the illusions. Loyalty's no shield without self-trust. Friends no foundation if yours crumbles first. Fear's the starting gut, Alex told assemblies at Cass Tech in 2018, Jim echoing with 200 kids' nods. His story raw, no polish, just truth. "I lost my best friend, my home, my shot. But in the losing, I found the builder in me." A girl lingered after one talk, Spring 2018, eyes fierce in braids. If you coded out the projects, Mr. Alex, maybe I can too. Her words lingered like mom's photo, a tether across generations. Self-reliance wasn't lonely anymore. It was legacy, paying forward the sparks that saved him. Failures? Fuel still journal entry. 365. 2020. Pitch flopped, but fixed it by Tuesday. Like old times, minus the thief. He meditated 10 minutes dawn, journaling not just wins but the whys, fear named and tamed. To the streets that nearly claimed him, thanks for the grit. To Mike's shadow, a quiet release, no coffee meetups, just a deleted LinkedIn ping. Forgiveness, a private code. Alex grew not taller, but deeper, husband whispering plans to Lena over Midtown takeout, father tucking Theo with hustler tales, not heroes. We rise alone so we can lift others, he'd say, voice gravel soft. The lesson burned clear. Rock, bottom's no grave. It's the grindstone, sharpening your edge. Anyone staring at a cracked screen, eviction slip, or empty inbox, your surge starts now, one debug at a time. As the sun dipped behind the Renaissance Center in September 2025, painting Detroit's skyline in strokes of burnt orange and resilient gold, Alex stood on his Midtown balcony, Theo's small hand in his, Lena's laugh drifting from the kitchen where dinner simmered venison from a UP hunting trip, roots reclaiming the wild. The city sprawled below, no longer graveyard but canvas, factories reborn as lofts, river trails alive with runners like him, 500 miles logged since that first frost-bitten jog. Theo tugged his sleeve, 5 and fearless. Daddy, tell the story again, the one where you beat the snow monster. Alex knelt, eyes level. It wasn't beating, buddy. It was running till the monster ran out of breath. The boy's grin mirrored his own, a cycle unbroken. Betrayal's echo faded to whisper, replaced by the hum of lives touched. 1.2 million shifts surged, foundations lifting hundreds from cots to keyboards. In that glow, Alex felt the full weight, not just survivor, but spark for the next. The river flowed on, eternal and unbetrayed, carrying whispers to whoever listened. And you, staring at your own cracked dawn, grab that library book, lace those shoes for mile 1, code the wild idea flickering in your gut, rock bottom's your launch pad, solitude your strongest alloy. Who's rising with the sun tomorrow? Comment, day 1 below if this is your starting line. Let's surge together.